you think this is, Christmas Island?
All right, cool. So yeah, this is
episode 1.5.
Yeah, episode 1.5 of Rice Cracker.
Mm-hmm.
We're never gonna air episode 1 because we did temporarily. We're not gonna air it again because it's something special.
It's racist.
Yeah, it's racist.
Racist, homophobic, just the worst of the worst.
Yeah, and it's almost 2 hours long.
That is true.
Which, like, so I went up to...
It was just real degenerate goblin behavior from the both of us, I think.
Yeah. And, like, I went up to, my prof, like, during orientation for my program.
Right.
And I showed her the first episode. Like, not with audio, obviously. Because,
right. Okay.
But she took one look at it and was like, 2 hours long. No one's going to watch that. I was like, shit. So
yeah, she's right.
That's why we're redoing it. Yeah, she also called me short.
Oh, like in what context?
Like literally like that context. Like I walked up to her and was just like, hey, professor, like I talked to you last year about like getting into this program. Nice to see you again. And she's just like, I thought you'd be taller. And I'm just like, bruh.
What the fuck?
Yeah, she's so like direct.
Yeah.
Like apparently, so she was like Alion and Arion know her, right? Because like they're in that
those
program.
Fucks, yeah. I mean, those really cool people.
So like they go, I think Arion graduated last year, but he came back and she saw him for the first time in the year, and she like gives him a hug. And then I guess the last time that she saw him, he didn't have a beard, but now he does. And she just looks at him and goes, damn, Arion, you've gone full Arab. And she says it loud.
That's so funny.
And like everybody around like the building like turn their heads and look, and then she says it again, loud again.
Just the same thing again.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're so Arab with your fucking beard, Alion.
And they're laughing. They don't know what to do, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of funny because it's like, how do you get away with that? You know?
Man, I guess if you're a prof, you're fine.
Yeah, I guess so.
You can just like laugh it off as a joke, because what are you gonna touch how are you gonna touch the prof? It's the prof.
And then she started like comparing Arion to her husband and saying like, I like men without facial hair. And yeah,
that's kind of weird. How old
weird.
Is she?
She's like probably in her early 50s.
Okay.
Yeah, so like my parents' age.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love talking to students about their Arab descent, and comparing them to their husbands.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool feature. So I guess we should get into our trip to Japan, not the west coast of the world.
Yeah, it's the east coast
of Asia. East coast of Asia, not west coast of of California.
No, let's talk about the west coast of California.
The west coast of California.
Yeah. What is on the west coast of California? Like weed? What do they make there?
Yeah, they have weed there. Man, I don't know. Like, it's fucking, I think it's LA. And like Hollywood and all that shit. I don't know that for sure, but I played enough Grand Theft Auto.
Okay. That makes sense.
And I went there too. But
we play Grand Theft Auto, so we know what's in California.
Yeah, you know what's up.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we went to Japan.
We did.
This was kind of like a last minute trip because you had your aunt cancel because she had to be with your uncle.
Yeah, because my uncle got like this shitty thing happen to him.
He had a hernia, right?
Yeah, he had a hernia.
A scrotum hernia?
Something like that. Just something, just not fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, he couldn't really take care of himself. So.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. Really cool for him. He just really loves it.
Yeah. I mean, you got your fucking balls tickled, right? Maybe
from the inside. Like I think the hernia is like tingling his balls from the inside.
Maybe tickling is a bit of a light term to use in that case, but
yeah, you know, it might actually feel maybe he gets off to it.
Yeah, like he could be one of those guys that enjoys having his woman just step on his, like, crush his balls with, like,
That is such a weird image to fucking put in my head.
Steel-toed stilettos.
I don't want to imagine my aunt step on. My uncle's like the most like lumberjack guy ever. Like,
yeah.
Always plaid shirts, always jeans.
Yeah.
Like 6'4".
Yeah.
Like white dude.
Is it Uncle Dave?
No, it's not Uncle Dave. It's it's Uncle Phil. You don't know Uncle Phil.
Oh yeah, I haven't met Uncle Phil.
He's also racist as fuck.
Oh great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so anyway, so your aunt couldn't go, so you were trying to find a spot to fill out, and you called me up and you were like, hey, you want to go to Japan? I'm like, fuck, sure, all right. Because I had nothing better to do. My job was ending at the time, like it was construction. And I'm like, all right, like this is a great opportunity, right? Like I remember a year ago, like before that happened, when I talked to you and you told me you were going to Japan, and I was so jealous.
Right.
So when you like said, do you want to come? I'm like, well, yeah, of course I do. That's like, once in a lifetime opportunity. So obviously, like, it came out of the blue, and I had to, let my girlfriend down easy.
I remember that.
Yeah, because like, we have a good relationship, but she also wants me around. So just kind of getting up and having like no contact with someone for, what was it, 3 weeks?
Right.
Is like a bit to ask, especially like when I'm leaving the next day. So,
yeah, it was very sudden for you, I would think.
Yeah, so I called her up. I was like, hey, Emily, funny story. I'm going to Japan, and I'll see you the fuck later.
Right.
And she's like, she's pissed off. So
how could you leave me?
So like in this time, I had ordered a promise ring for her, right? And I was just like, I was going to give it to her before the Japan trip anyway, like just for our, relationship. And as soon as I realized that I was going to Japan, I was like, this is a perfect opportunity to leverage.
This is my moment.
Yeah, this is my moment to leverage this ring to like let her down easy so that I can go without feeling any guilt whatsoever.
Right. Yeah.
So
and you used that ring to just get your way.
Oh, I totally did. So right, so like I open it up and I pick it up and I hold it in front of her face and I'm like dangling it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
Hey Emily, guess what I have? And she's like, oh, what? It's so shiny. What is it? And I'm just like, it's a promise ring. She's like, oh, is that for me? And I'm like, oh, but of course it's for you.
Yeah.
It's for our symbol of eternal love. And she's just like, oh my God, I'm the luckiest girl in the whole wide world. Right? So I throw it at her.
You fucking throw it at her.
I just throw it at her, and she gets on the floor. She looks around for it. She picks it up. She's like, "Oh my God, it's beautiful!" And then she's like, she starts acting like fucking Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Right?
Oh, my precious.
Yeah, exactly.
Like orgasming at the thought of the ring.
Yeah, so she's like hunched over. She's just like
hunchback little goblin.
Yeah.
Oh, my precious.
Oh, look at this ring, my precious.
Jesus.
It was pretty wild. I was kind of scared of her. Like she asked me to sleep over that night, and I was like, I don't know if I want to be in the same bed with you, but I did it. I took one for the team, and went all right. So
interesting.
It was cool. Anyway, so next day we go to the airport.
Yeah.
In Toronto, and we hop on Air Canada for a 13-hour flight to get to Japan.
Yeah, that was a pretty long flight. That really sucked.
It really was.
Meanwhile, I was in first class.
Yeah, this motherfucker goes to first. Okay, I won't even say motherfucker because you paid for the ticket, all right? And I'm eternally grateful for that. However, this motherfucker was texting me from first class with a glass of champagne and watching the fucking Minions movie, all right? And I'm sitting squashed between the fucking window seat and two kids and their mom. Right? It's like, it's awful. And the one kid kept like falling asleep on my shoulder. And then he'd just wake up and look at me and just be like, who are you? I was just like, oh shit. So yeah, like
funny.
13 hours. I'm just sitting there watching YouTube.
Yeah.
I didn't get a wink of sleep.
That sucks.
I was tired.
Yeah,
as
I
fuck.
could like press the button and my
Yeah.
my seat would go back and I could like have a bed and
Yeah, I bet they
and
gave
every
you a
4
fucking
hours they'd like wake me up and be like, "Do you want something to drink, sir? Could I interest you in a glass of wine or something?"
I bet you had a fucking little bell you could ring. Just be
Oh,
like,
I can. Yeah, you can
room
just press the
service.
button and the light goes off and
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah, fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we get to Japan after 13 hours. We're both trashed. I think you can probably relate to this. My feet were basically like marinating like kimchi for those 13 hours.
Yeah.
Like I got out, they were purple and fucking swollen, and they smelled like a fucking elephant's carcass. It was gross.
Right.
My balls weren't much better. I had to fucking burn that pair of underwear.
Yeah. And I remember when we eventually got to the hotel, just the poor foreign lady probably getting paid peanuts having to deal with our shit.
Yeah, like because we're gonna leave in the morning to get back to the airport. So like she's going in there to clean our room afterwards, and it's like I can't imagine like the stench that was just left over from like our just being in there. You know, like would have been
Just our
crazy.
nasty feet.
Yeah. So anyway, we go back to one of the Japan airports, and we hop on a plane to get to Hong Kong. And this is because we were going to meet your family, you for the first time, I guess, too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I never met my family in Hong Kong.
Yeah. So we took a plane over there, and the funny part was, so obviously you can't transfer tickets, and this was part of the reason why I was, stuck in coach while you were in first class.
Right, yeah.
And we realized that the ticket wouldn't transfer over for your Cathay Pacific airline. So your aunt was like, we'll take a look at tickets and see, how much everything's going to cost. And when she looked at the prices, she was like, fuck that. Because they were like, probably like $7,000 or something crazy. I don't know how much the tickets were. And then she's like, all right, let's find this guy the cheapest option we can possibly find. And she lands on Hong Kong Airlines.
I think that was my idea.
It was your idea?
Probably. She was probably like, "Hey, what kind of ticket do you want to get?" I'm like, "Just the cheapest shit you can. Like, fuck this guy. Just get him there."
Fuck, dude. So I show up right at my terminal, and the best part is you guys you're at a different terminal. So
we're at a completely different terminal in the airport.
So you just say fuck off.
Yeah, we fucking leave.
So you, your aunt, and your grandma get off and go somewhere else. I'm left alone in Japan.
Yep.
I don't speak a word of Japanese. Right? Except for fucking boobies. I could say opai.
Wow, look at you. You're really
it's great, right?
Far.
Yeah. So luckily they had lots of English around. I was able to figure out my shit, but I get to the plane, and this is like an outdated Airbus.
Right.
And at the time, I couldn't distinguish between Boeing and Airbus, but obviously Boeing's got some issues, especially as of late.
Okay.
A lot of fatal crashes and just
casual stuff.
Yeah, casual stuff. I'm pretty sure they were the result of Ocean Gate in some capacity. I think they made parts for that submarine. Anyway, they don't have a great track record. And I couldn't distinguish the two. So I'm getting on Hong Kong Airlines, and I am fucking shitting myself. Because I thought this was a Chinese manufactured plane with the lowest tier.
Just the lowest tier aluminum.
Yeah.
And just Sheen factory quality materials. Just probably children making it.
Yeah. No, the kids made it, right? That's what I'm expecting. So we get on I get on this plane, right?
Yeah.
And I am the only white person on board. Everyone else is Chinese. All right. And so I'm freaking the fuck out because I don't realize that the air flight attendants speak English. I think they just speak Chinese. So I don't know what's going on. And I think originally your aunt told me that there was no food included with this trip. But for whatever reason, when I got on the flight, they started bringing around food. And I was because I didn't know that they spoke English, I pretended to be asleep while they brought the cart around. so I was passed out against the window.
Or pretending to be passed out.
But I was pretending to be passed out against the window like this. Right? And so they come by with the cart, and I just
Right, okay. And they're like, oh, look at this fucking idiot white guy passed out.
But the other thing is too, you know, I wanted to see what was going on. So every once in a while, I'd open one eye and just like kind of look around really quick, and then just
conk out again.
Yeah, and like it wasn't a great thing to do. Like if I had insight, knowing what was going to happen, like I definitely would have taken that snack because it smelled great. You know, it was like some kind of red bean bun or something.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, but you know, I didn't know what the fuck was going on, and I was shitting myself. And so I just sat there for a 5-hour flight and pretended to be asleep.
Was that your like? How often do you fly on planes?
Not often. Like I've flown a few times to, I think, Florida, and I've gone once to Mexico.
Cool.
But I think that's kind of like as far as my flight experience goes.
And of course, like you usually go with like your family.
Yeah, exactly. So like there's no confusion about how do I get through airport security? How do I do this? How do I do that? Yeah, and it's also like, it is one English country to another. Yeah. So it's a little bit easier to do that transfer. So anyway, we get to Hong Kong. They've got, a subway system built into the airport.
I remember that. That was really cool.
Yeah, their subway system's really cool because they've got glass panels and doors that go, floor to ceiling. So there's no possible way of getting pushed on the tracks like something we have to deal with here in Toronto. Fucking transit system's garbage. So you get on, you zip over to one of the other terminals, you go through airport security. And I just remember like I was wearing my Blue Jays hat and I didn't know anything about China, right? I thought like I didn't realize Hong Kong was still kind of like a separate entity. Right. So I'm like expecting dictator shit, and I step out.
You're expecting like Xi Jinping, like flags everywhere, and just
So I walk past this guy, right? Who's one of the security guards, and he just goes, "Hey," and then just points at my hat. I'm like, "Oh shit, it's starting!" Right?
They're gonna arrest me.
Yeah. So I take off my hat and I just like silently walk, over to you guys, and then we line up and get through. Their architecture is crazy. Like it's really it was really pretty cool. And super huge. I remember being blown away by like how many cranes and bulldozers and shit they had for just like industrializing so much of the land there. Right.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. I've never seen anything quite like that here. So they definitely got a better operation going. So anyway, we got into the cab, and
you got like Zhao Shua in the driving seat.
Yeah, we get into we get into the cab driver's like box car, right? Yeah, and we start driving, and this man is on the phone the whole time he's driving us, and he's like zipping around like mountain, like highway. Right?
Yeah, he's like going through mountain temples trying to get us to our fucking destination. Yeah. And guy is just on the phone, using the phone while driving. Like genuinely just texting, talking, just being an overall goblin on his phone while driving.
Do you remember what his name was?
It's like Zhao Shua.
Zhao Shua? I thought it was like 3 parts.
Zhao Shua Ping. How about that? That's what we'll call him.
Did you make that up?
No.
That was his name?
Yep, Zhao Shua Ping. And if he's watching, he knows we just called him out.
Well, the best part is like, let's say we did get his name right. If the Chinese government sees him, his social credit score is gonna fucking tank. All right, we just like outed this guy. He's gonna lose his job.
Dude, there's so many people in China they won't be able to track him down. There's probably 5 fucking cab drivers named Zhao Shua Ping. How are they ever gonna track the right one?
Regardless of like you did make that name up, I'm pretty sure you at least got one of those syllables right.
Oh, probably. They're all the same.
Yeah,
I can say that.
And I mean, ultimately, like they made it up too. So
yeah. It's all made up.
It's all made up.
It's a fake language.
Yep. Here, like, speak some for us.
早上好，中国身材我要冰淇淋，我要冰淇淋.
Wow, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I know.
Where'd you learn that?
The motherland.
The motherland.
Yeah.
All right, so we get out of the cab. We go to our hotel. We stayed in a 5-star hotel. It was pretty wild.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, really good food. But good. So later that night, we're meeting up with Caden's family for the first time, and we meet Caden's Uncle Rock. in the lobby.
He's unlike any uncle I can say I ever have. Also, I believe I would call him Uncle Rock, but I think he's technically my cousin.
Yeah, I think
but he's old enough to be like an uncle or my uncle. So.
Yeah, your aunt wanted us to call him Cousin Rock and not give him that like boost, but I think we kind of have to give him that boost because he deserves it.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you wanna explain like what Uncle Rock is like and your first experience like meeting him? Because it was pretty.
I got like warnings of what he was gonna be like, so I want to know what you think I got like warnings of like his general personality. So as someone who like didn't really get a warning, what do you think how did you see it?
So I didn't have any concept of like who this guy was going to be, right? I just knew we were going to meet, your family. Cousin, right? And in walks in this like 35, 40-year-old bald Chinese guy who's like probably like 6'1", 6'2". Like he's a tall motherfucker. And he started talking to us, and if I didn't see what he looked like, I would have thought that he grew up in the hood.
Yeah.
Like he was using a bunch of like mannerisms, just like
of a stereotypical person who might grow up in the hood.
He was like using gangster language, right?
Yeah.
Because like we walk up to him, we're like, what do you think about, Canada, right? And he just goes, oh, hell no, right? And we're just like, all right, man, jeez.
He had a lot of opinions for sure.
Yeah, no, he did. Yeah, because like he'd take us to a place or be excited about something that he was telling us, and he'd just be like, yo, they're the OGs.
Yeah.
Just like all the time. So he like I thought he would have been from the hood for sure, and it turns out like we weren't too far off because he told us his life story, and apparently like when he was like 11 years old, his parents fucking they just straight up deported him from Hong Kong and sent him to Chicago.
Yep,
right?
That is what happened.
So he got adopted by a black family, right? And this guy like didn't speak a word of English at the time, but he learned from being around, all English speaking people. But because he was like, growing up, I think in like a black neighborhood, he was picking up all these like, gangster terms and, specific language. Yeah. And it's so funny because like I said, if you didn't see what he looked like, you'd think, he was a black guy from the hood.
Yeah. If you were just like on like a Discord call with him or just like on a regular phone call, you would just assume that he is not of Asian descent.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And so he started talking to us about like his experiences in university. And because like, we're going through university college right now. And he was like, here are some tips for you. And I don't know if I'd like actually want to follow any of these tips, especially like because I have a girlfriend. Okay. But he basically told us like, that he fucked every single girl in his dorm.
He said that, and he's like, you guys should do that too. This is what you guys gotta do. You guys gotta fuck every girl from your dorm.
You gotta do it. You gotta fucking get those panties off, fucking fling them across the room, make a fucking pile out of them, you know? Like, yeah, Rock spits game. What does.
Can I say, man?
Mm-hmm. You got those genes.
I guess I do, but
you do too. It's just with fucking Discord.
Yeah, exactly. I can spit game on Discord. When I see a girl in real life, I'm like, oh hi.
Yeah.
And my brain poops and I fucking melt.
You never cease to amaze me though, like how effortlessly you're able to get phone numbers and Instagrams from girls from just talking to them.
Oh.
Like it's really crazy. You're smooth as fuck.
I don't think so.
Well, you've shown me some of your texts, and like 1 second you'll be talking about like fucking Roblox, and then next you're just like, "Yo, can I get your number?" And they're just "Oh hell yes, I'm so wet."
Oh
right
hell
now.
Yes.
Yeah, they got that Asian gangster too. You bring it out of them.
Exactly. That's what I do.
Yeah, but anyway, so I want you to like talk a little bit about our first interaction with Rock. Okay, because like this is going to kind of set the stage for what we were in for the remainder of our trip in Hong Kong.
Our first interaction, I remember him walking into the lobby of the hotel and immediately going to me like, yo, what's up, bro? And like it dabs me up. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? I'm like in China, like you don't expect this. You don't expect an Asian guy coming in with mannerisms that are not, typical of Hong Kong people, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it all started from there. It started with I don't know.
Well, give us an example of what he said. Do you remember?
God.
Because you asked him about like what he thought about all the immigrants coming into Canada.
Oh God, you want to know about this?
Well, I mean, yeah, like
he basically was like, there are too many Indians there, and I was like, man, you don't even live there, and you know this. Like, how the fuck do you know this?
He's like, I've been looking at Oakville.
Oh yeah, because he wants to move.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to move.
I don't know.
Hong Kong is like fucking crazy.
I don't know if Oakville's a good representation for that. So,
well, he wants to move to Oakville because there's a huge Asian population there.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
And he wants to like go where his wife's friends are, and I think a lot of them are in Oakville.
Do you know if a lot of like Hong Kong immigrants go to Oakville? Like,
man, I don't fucking know.
Well, I mean, like they've got. They've got a lot of money.
Asians.
They've got a lot of money if you come over from Hong Kong. So I'm guessing they probably choose that as one of the richer neighborhoods to settle down in. I could be wrong, but that's.
Yeah, I think it's Markham, Richmond Hill, and Oakville are the main ones that I can think of right now.
Yeah, because like, you know, if you live in Hong Kong, like everything is super compact, right?
Right. Yeah,
like, super dense in terms of population. So you can like be living in a shoebox in this massive skyscraper, right?
And it costs you like $4,000 a month.
No, dude, like those places will cost like up to like not even up to like minimum of $2 million.
Oh, I just was thinking about rent, but yeah.
If
you actually wanted to own,
if you wanted to own a place in Hong Kong, like a shoebox apartment,
yeah,
it'll be like $2 million to own it.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people, like especially the ones that are well off living in Hong Kong, if you come over to Canada or the US, you are loaded.
Yeah, you are loaded.
Yep. So
that's true, and he is loaded. He's an
NBA drafter.
Yep. As if being stereotypical about where he came from isn't enough, he's an NBA drafter.
Yeah. Well, he did tell us about like trying to play basketball for one season. Remember?
Yeah, I do remember that. And then he got an injury.
Yeah.
And then he just decided to become a drafter.
Yeah. Well, he said his career was over after he got that injury. Like he just didn't have the body to like keep up with all the professional basketball players from like either Caucasian or black descent.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting to hear,
right?
Because like he was super tall.
He is super tall.
It's insane, like the level of talent you need to have and just experience being a basketball player to like be in like the major leagues.
Yeah, for sure.
That's even the right term for it. But yeah. So anyway, I guess after our time in Hong Kong, we took a flight back to Japan. And
yes, because that our family, I guess my family trip concluded.
Yeah.
One off-topic thing. You remember that photo at the end?
Yeah,
for
with your whole family
birthday.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, where's Waldo? And there's just a white man among like 20 different Asian people.
Yeah,
you gotta put that photo up. But like,
yeah, no, I will.
It's awesome.
Yeah, like because there were like 20 to 30 people in your family, and they're all Chinese.
Yep.
And then there's me, and we were celebrating your grandma's birthday, and she's like the person of honor, so she's the center of the photo.
Oh yeah,
and I am sitting
Grandma.
right beside her, and nobody knows who I am.
Yep.
Yeah.
And everyone has that photo.
Yep. Everyone. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I posted it on Instagram too and was like, oh, where's Waldo?
What a jokester.
What a jokester. So, yeah, we went to the airport, got back on, went to Japan. And this was actually like a cruise ship trip. So we weren't just going to be, walking around Tokyo for a while. We were going to be on a cruise ship for 3 weeks. No, not 3 weeks, 13 days.
Yeah,
almost 2 weeks.
13 days. Yeah.
And we were on the Celebrity Millennium,
mm-hmm.
and out of like all the celebrity cruise ships, like it's a smaller part of Royal Caribbean. Like they own celebrity cruises, and we got put on probably like the shittiest, oldest cruise ship they had in their fleet.
Yeah, the Celebrity Millennium is definitely the worst reputation among all their cruise ships.
Yeah.
At least online. It's the only one I've really been on, I think. So.
Well, no, I'm pretty sure it is because I think I looked it up to see, what it was looking like. And there's like no water slides or any of those like extra frills that you usually have. And like that, I'm not saying that's a necessity for having a good cruise, obviously, but you could tell like it was ending, or nearing the end of its life. In terms of like cruise ships, right? So anyway, we board the cruise ship and we go to our room and we get introduced to our room caretaker, Ariel. So Ariel. I'll let you explain this a little bit because I know you had like a special relationship with him. And
my special relationship with Ariel?
Yeah, you remember?
No.
You don't remember your special relationship?
I don't remember my special relationship with Ariel. Oh, fuck, dude. I do remember my fucking special relationship with Ariel. I do. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, so Ariel, cute Ariel, just this Filipino guy, and he's basically our maid. He's our bitch. He cleans up after us. We're just two stinky boys in a room, and he cleans our messes. Anyways, I have trust issues, and I don't really like people I don't know going into like
your
my room. I feel like they might take something. It's just my own how I think. Anyways, this Ariel just really wanted to give us towels. But we had towels. We were fine. But he kept saying, like, I need to go into your room. I need to go. I need to go into your room. Like, every time he saw us in the hallways, because he's always roaming the hallways. Every time he
clean enough.
He's like, the towels are 2 days old. Like, you need new ones. I need to go in. I'm like, later. We lock the door.
It's like, how are you even showering? You don't have fresh towels.
It's just incomprehensible to him how we could even be clean without 2 fresh towels.
No, he was adamant about getting into a room and giving us towels. The other thing was too is that like when we showed up, we specifically requested that we wanted to have our queen bed split into 2 because we're not really looking to like butt fuck on this cruise.
So, we didn't want to like cuddle beside each other or anything.
But
maybe sometimes, but all the time.
It could have been fun, like on a one-off. But like.
Can you bring condoms from like Canada to Japan? Is that a thing?
I think you probably could have. I saw condoms at some of the Japanese convenience stores. I almost bought some just to like see if they were different, but I didn't do that.
Okay. Anyways,
you get them on the cruise ship too. Actually, they sold them in the gift shop.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's continue.
So Ariel was, he didn't split her bed, and he just had a bunch of like bad service shit that he was doing. Like we had this locket that we wanted to get for our girlfriends at the time.
Right.
And he thought because we were guys, we weren't going to want these lockets, so he didn't even bother giving it to us. And we asked him like multiple times, and he just like never, came through.
And keep in mind that like the lockets are something they're supposed to be like given out regardless what your gender is or how old you are.
Yeah, it's
you are supposed to give out the lockets to every single person on the cruise ship, every single guest.
Yeah. It's an essential for the rooms.
Yep. And so I definitely think that they were just, keeping them or something for themselves, or I don't know, somehow making a profit out of them.
It's possible. Like
I don't fucking know.
I don't know, man. They're fucking scam artists.
Yeah, they're fucking. Dude.
They really are. Like our photo we tried getting printed off special. What did they ask? $50?
Yeah, it was something ridiculous.
For a one-off photo. That was USD, by the way. That's not even Canadian. Yeah, I was close. Like I wanted to go report them to one of the higher ups and get them in shit. Or threaten them just to be like, you gotta give us that photo.
You should explain why you like what. You should explain the context of that a bit more.
Yeah, no, we'll get into it soon. So the next part of our cruise ship life was obviously going to eat. This was like a big part of the trip because they had multiple restaurants. There was like the Ocean View Cafe, which is kind of like your cafeteria style, like dog shit kind of restaurant, open until open pretty much 24/7. Like they'd always have pizza. We'd go there at like 2 a.m. in the morning and they'd still have pizza.
Yep, they would. That was awesome. I remember that.
Yeah, and then we had the esteemed restaurant, the Metropolitan.
The Metropolitan, amazing.
That was like kind of the middle tier restaurant where you'd actually like go to sit down and dine, and you'd have waiters come around and like give you stuff and all that. And then there was the Tuscan Grill, I think was
there was a Tuscan Grill. Yeah, those are the restaurants that we went to, at least.
Yeah, those are there's also like a projection like mini chef on your
and there's a sushi restaurant.
Stupid.
Sushi.
Yeah, we thought about going to the sushi restaurant, and like they were doing a demo on how to make sushi, and we're like, ooh, we get to learn how to make sushi from a real Japanese person in Japan. No, it's just more Filipinos.
Just more Filipinos.
They run the ship. They run the ship.
They do run the ship.
They do a good job of running the ship, but
sometimes
they usually do a good job of running the ship.
Remember when we got scammed almost?
Okay, that's true. Yeah. There are a few people on the ship, like Ariel and the fucking camera people.
Yep. But then there's also cruise director Nate.
Well, he's not Filipino.
Yeah, well, of course he's not Filipino, but in terms of people who run the ship.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But no, I was more talking about like Gerald and Roy.
Yeah, you're talking about Gerald and Roy.
Yeah.
Those damn Filipinos. I have to censor that out.
So these were our two waiters, right? So we had Gerald, who was the assistant waiter, and he would like come around like seat us, and then he'd bring over like bread, like a basket of bread and dips. And he had like this rehearsed line that he'd say every fucking night. And I remember it clear as day because he said it every meal. We had him 13 days in a row.
Yep.
And he would just be like, okay, and tonight we have the Parmesan bread stick with the classic French baguette.
Why is
and
that so that's exactly it.
And the house-made focaccia.
Yeah.
Right?
That's exactly it.
And then he'd set down like a tray of dip and he'd be like, and for the deeps, we have the classic butter and the horseradish in the garlic parmesan. Right?
That was pretty good. That was good.
Well, that was what confused me, right? Because he was Filipino, but I swear he had a French accent. You don't believe me.
I don't believe you. It just sounded like
you think it's
just like a Filipino accent.
You just think it's a Filipino accent.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. I've got Filipino friends and they don't sound like that.
Okay,
but
that's fair.
I could be wrong.
Kayla's dad sounds like that sometimes, so maybe that's why.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, could be. But yeah, so Gerald was a good waiter. I liked him. He was cool. But Roy was our boy. He was the figurehead.
Roy, you mean wasn't it Ray?
Was it Ray?
I think it was Ray.
Fuck. You're right, it was Ray.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ray.
Poor Ray.
Poor Ray. Ray was the figurehead of our dining experience. He made the Metropolitan special for us.
He did.
Because like he came around and he worked hard. The thing that they don't tell you is that when you work on a cruise ship, you don't have any days off. Like you're working 7 days a week and like crazy hours too, like from early in the morning to late at night.
Yeah, I think he explained it to us. He basically said that you work as like whatever kind of worker he was. He would work basically 10 months straight with minimal days off, like no weekends, 7 days a week.
Yep.
And 2 months off for I think you get to choose either the winter or the summer.
Yeah.
That's like their sort of contract.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know if he explained which one he did. The 2 months off. I don't know if he chose winter or summer.
Yeah, but like either way, he was like working 6 months straight with no breaks every day, which is like bananas.
I think it was more than 6 months, but yeah, it was bananas.
Yeah. So anyway, so the thing about Ray, like, he obviously looked tired, which like I don't blame him. Like that's crazy, hours to be working.
Yeah, of course.
But we'd also find Ray sometimes in the Ocean View Cafe in the morning. Right. So not only is he like dining on people in the Metropolitan, he's also working in the cafe upstairs. And it, like, remind you, this is like the shit cafe. Yeah. So Ray made omelets.
Yeah. He cooked them too.
Yeah. No, he did. Yeah. He made omelets. He cooked omelets. And I remember like we recognized him one morning. I think this was like towards the end of our trip.
It was.
And Ray did not look happy. Ray looked sad.
He looked sad. It wasn't nice.
Because he's standing there early in the day, holding a frying pan, and just having an endless stream of white people that are
White people
that are retired. They have nothing better to do than go up and eat omelets. And they'd go up to him, right? And they'd be like, can I get a green pepper omelet with egg whites? And he'd be like, yes. Do you want cheese on that? And then you just see Ray fucking frying panning away because like he can't do anything else.
Just
endlessly. Just like, right? Because he can't do anything else.
We were going to walk up to him. We were going to say hi, but we just saw his face and just pure sadness, and we just couldn't.
Yeah, Ray looked like he probably could have been diagnosed with clinical depression. Like he was that sad, right? So we didn't want to like impact his day and make this any worse for him. So we just like, okay, we'll see you at dinner. We'll talk later. And you know, probably our biggest downfall for that entire experience, like we really liked Ray, even though I fucked up his name. I really liked Ray.
Yeah, he was cool.
And the only thing that he asked for us to do for him, was to leave him a 5-star review at the end of our trip. And guess what? We failed to do even that.
We forgot.
We forgot to give him his 5-star review. This poor guy that's like traveled on a cruise ship from the Philippines. He's working his absolute ass off for his family to support them. The only thing he asked from us is please tell my supervisors that I'm doing a good job so I don't have to make omelets for white people anymore. And we didn't do that. We didn't even do that.
We are the reason he's making omelets for white people. You know, someone's got to do it.
At least for a few months extra.
Yeah. Oh, that's...
I'm sure he's getting good reviews.
Right. You know, I'm sure.
But we'll just hope, all right?
Yeah,
we'll hope. It's the best we can do. So the next thing, too, is like they offered a lot of activities to do around the cruise ship. And one of the ones that like kind of stood out was the silent disco. And if you don't know what a silent disco is, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a disco party where everyone's dancing and they have headphones on, which means they're dancing in silence.
Yes. And Nathan and I here, we thought it'd be a very good idea to just go watch a bunch of old white farts, dare I say, just dance in the silent, in the dark, just overall being old white people.
Yeah, you need to imagine the demographic for this too, right?
Yes.
Like I said before, these are people that are retired and they're just looking for like anything to bring joy to themselves.
Just make them feel young again.
Yeah, because they're on their way out, right? They don't have like much longer, so it's like, oh, what do I do to like spice up my life before I fucking meet the Reaper? Oh, I know. Let's go on a fucking Japanese cruise and we'll go do a silent disco. So you look at all these people that like, I don't know, probably have 15 degrees of motion left in their joints and they're just like creaking away trying to like, you know, do some dance moves. And like, mind you, again, this is still in complete silence. You've got like lights going off and like, you know, disco ball and all these people just like giving the old Persian shuffle, you know, where they've got their like praying mantis arms out, just swaying back and forth. Yeah. And like, I remember you mentioning like every once in a while you'd hear like a woo. Or like
yeah, you'd hear like a woo and a yeah, and like occasional like singing of like the choruses, but then everyone forgets like the main part of like the song, or like the other bridge and everything part of the song. I don't fucking know song lyrics.
We got a video of it, so like we'll put it up on the screen. But it's something special, something I never want to take part of again because.
Well, we didn't take part of it. We just witnessed it. I don't want to be old and ever take part of that.
Well,
I don't want to like.
Yeah, that's true. But to me, like even just being there was taking part in that fucking fiasco. That was awful.
It was awful. It sucked.
But like, so another highlight of our trip was
the casino.
Oh yeah, the casino. Yeah, so
we scammed so many people.
We had a fucking mission we went on. And this mission was that we'd go to the casino on open waters when like it, you know, technically there are no rules, no laws. So we realized that a lot of these people, probably because they have fucking Alzheimer's or some shit, they'd forget that they have money left in their account and they'd forget to check out. So we would go and scan every single one of the machines, and we'd cash out their 30, 50 cents left over that they didn't want to use to actually gamble anymore. And the best part was we could convert all of these vouchers into one big voucher.
Yep, we did. And we did that many times throughout the cruise ship. We did that every fucking day that we could. And eventually, I think we got in total $20 worth of fucking.
I think it was 25 USD.
We got in total somewhere around 25 USD.
We won't really talk too much about the fact we made $140 on our first day and then lost a lot more of that.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
But we did still get $25, which is pretty good.
And then we lost it all.
Yep, and our last spin was just we got the jackpot. No, we didn't get the jackpot. We got the spin on the Wheel of Fortune, and we missed the jackpot by 1 tick.
Yep. That was that was the ultimate tease, ultimate cock tease.
Yeah, that was pretty awful.
Yeah, that sucked.
But I mean, we probably still had a lot more fun than the people using the machines.
Yeah, that's true. They're just mindlessly going,
yeah. They're pushing the button.
Just hoping for any bit of ecstasy left in their bones.
Yeah.
But nothing's coming. Oh, I see. You're literally cranking the fucking bar. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the only thing they can crank left. Their fucking dick doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
They're firing blanks.
Jesus Christ. Aw. That sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. Too bad. They got to deal with that, but at least we don't have to for a while.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully.
So another highlight I want to bring up too is that we went to the Ocean View Cafe quite a lot, just because it was easy to get to and they had a lot of food. Food wasn't good. Again,
some of the food was decent.
Some of the food was okay, but
some of the food shit fucking bricks.
Yeah, it was pretty bad because there were cakes and stuff, right? Where I described it, I've never had something so dry and yet so moist in my entire life that I don't know if scientists could replicate that if they tried. They probably invented a new material in the periodic table of elements.
This is a new element.
Yeah.
Just fucking from the cake.
Yeah, seriously. So every day we'd go to the Ocean View Cafe and there would always be this guy who was standing in front of the entrance. And we call him Washy Washy Guy.
Oh god.
Because he'd stand there with a bag of hand sanitizer, I guess, and squeeze it on your hands so that you could wash your hands before you ate.
Yep.
And he'd have this little dance that he'd do, right? And he'd just be happy, happy, good morning, washy, washy, happy, happy, good morning, and he was the only guy who actually had some, some happiness left in him, right? Trying to actually make everyone enjoy their trip. And
other than Ray.
True. So I remember the second day we were there, we went up in the morning and see these two elderly people walk past him and he's doing his dance and everything. And they're just we've had enough, happy, happy. And he just goes, oh.
you see his joy and any spark of life he had left in him from that cruise ship just disappear, just let out.
And over the 13 days, I watched this man's spirit cripple.
Yeah.
Okay? That shine in his eyes that he started with at the beginning of the trip was gone. Because I remember towards the very end of the trip, probably the day before we got off, I walk up there and he's not working. He is standing completely still with no motion whatsoever. Right? And he's looking completely straight forward.
No.
And I walk up and I get, I don't know, maybe 3-4 meters away, a few feet away, right? And I don't see him move his head. I see his eyes flick over to me. All right? And then he slowly just starts going, happy, happy, good morning, washy, washy, happy, happy. And I'm just what the fuck is going on here? I felt afraid for my life. I felt afraid for his life. And I felt afraid for every single person on that cruise ship. Because I was this guy is going to kill the captain and drive us into a volcano.
Yeah.
Okay? Mm-hmm. That was the kind of vibe I was getting from him. he was scaring the fuck out of me. And I was like, we need to get this guy a fucking hot towel and a fucking cup of lemon tea ASAP.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that I noticed is like down in the lobby, they had a big board that had Make-A-Wish Foundation, because Celebrity Cruises is part of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So if you have a kid that is, about to pass away, they can choose to have their last, big adventure before, they make their final adventure into the ether. And they can have a fun cruise.
That's fucked up. But yes.
Well, it's true.
No.
It's true.
Yeah, you're right.
So, I look at this board and I see like all of these kids that did like drawings and shit. Mind you, they're not great, which is, probably because most of them are like either in a bed or in a wheelchair. I mean, that probably dampens your creativity a little bit. But I
mean, I think if anything, that would make me more creative. I have nothing else to do.
That's true. But I just remember thinking who in the fuck would ever decide as a kid, I want to go on a cruise ship, and then the fucking CEOs are just like, we have a cruise ship we can put you on, the worst one in our fleet, the Celebrity Millennium, and then they just plunk you on there, right? So you've got this kid who's bald, he's about to go through it, right? And he gets wheeled out of the elevator, right, up to the floor of the Ocean View Cafe.
Yeah.
And that happy guy is waiting for him at the end of the hallway. And all you see, again, is the eyes flick over to him and then the fucking jittering and convulsing as this kid is slowly getting closer and closer to this guy. And he just looks up at his mom and he's like, Mom, why is he moving like that? He's like, I don't know, honey. Just don't make eye contact and maybe the scary man will go away.
Oh, Jesus. That poor guy.
That poor guy. Yeah. We tried to be nice to him. We really did. Because after we saw those, that couple just be like, nah, fuck you. We were like, this guy deserves some some respect and some love, because he's making us feel good. But yeah, so one of the last things I want to talk about for the cruise ship. So obviously we're sharing a room for 13 days, right?
Okay. And
we've got one bathroom and nothing else. How did you jerk off during that whole trip? Or did you?
Yeah, I did. It would be because there were times when you and I would go on walks, but we'd do it separately and we'd just explore. Then there were also a few times when you were asleep.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually?
Yeah, genuinely.
So I'm asleep and you're just fucking whacking.
I put on my earbuds and I'm like,
how does that help me?
It doesn't.
So you're just telling me you're
less quiet.
You're sitting beside me I don't know 2-3 feet away and you're just whacking one off.
Yeah, I am.
Into the sheets.
I did. Yep. And I occasionally I look over and you can get a whiff of your hair and go, oh.
Those are the sheets that you should have given Ray. Sorry, Ariel.
Yeah, Ariel. Ariel, can you wash these?
Yeah. You want to know something really cool?
What?
You sure? Do you?
Yeah.
You know how I did it?
What?
Remember how you used to say I was in the bathroom for a long time?
Oh, when you showered?
Yeah, or just in general, right? Yeah. And you were always like, oh man, you're in the bathroom so long, you jerking off. I'm just like, no.
No.
Well,
oh God.
Funny story.
Oh God.
There were more times when I was in that bathroom I was jerking off than when I was actually going to the bathroom.
Oh,
and I strategically planned it to make my regular trips to the bathroom take just as long so you wouldn't know.
That's fucked up. Why would you put that much effort into it?
Because I was bored.
Oh God. Okay, there's one thing I want to talk about.
Yeah, sure.
And I know it's not really off topic, but there was one time we went to the Metropolitan for lunch, because we usually went for dinner.
Yeah.
Do you remember the girl who threw up?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I didn't see it, but you did.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it all happen, and Grandma and I just watched. So we ordered our food, and I guess some teenager girl ate too much.
Yeah.
And I see that, like, from the corner of my eye, I see, like, something's a little bit wrong with her, the way that, like, her body language is. So I kind of, like, look at her, and I'm looking back and forth between grandma and, we're having a conversation together.
Yep.
And I just see this girl go, and then cover her mouth, and then just, like, she's trying to stop the puke, and then she just fucking splatters it all over her face, like she tried to stop the projectile vomit.
Oh,
but
no.
it just hit her hand and went all over her face.
It spread out from, like, between the cracks.
Yes, exactly that.
Oh.
And it just went all over her, and it was just horrible.
That's fucked up.
And grandma, I just look at grandma, and grandma is just so sad. Grandma is just... Because we're like beside them. We're like the table beside, and you are the closest person there. Like, you don't understand because you were facing away from them.
I got a whiff. That was the thing that, like, tipped me off. Yeah. It was really wavy that morning, though.
It was really wavy, I guess. But
yeah,
it wasn't like a small amount of vomit either. It was a very considerable amount.
Yeah.
And it was like the fucking cartoon vomit. Like, where it was like a dark green.
Oh.
I don't know what the fuck she ate.
Miso soup.
Yeah, whatever miso soup kind of fucking breakfast, I guess, lunch, but
that's crazy.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was not fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that literally put me off for that lunch, just watching that happen, just watching the vomit-ridden woman leave.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But yeah, after that was cool. That's all I wanted to say. I thought that'd be a little bit funny.
Yeah. No, it is.
And it's just, it must have been so embarrassing. That's definitely a core memory for the rest of her life.
Oh yeah, totally.
For sure.
Oh yeah. It will be for us too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I guess, like, to fully end off the cruise ship arc, we got to talk about the man himself that, like, made our trip.
Yes, and other than Ray and
not even
Washy
close.
Washy Guy.
Not even comparable.
We forgot to mention, or we didn't forget to mention, we saved him for last. Cruise director Nate.
Yeah. He was a living, walking legend. Not actually. We convinced ourselves he was. Mm-hmm. Let me set the stage real quick. So after we've, like, come back from our first meal at the Ocean View Cafe, when we first got on the ship, we were just killing time in our room trying to figure out what to do. And we noticed we had a TV and a remote. So we looked it up, and we found out that there was an actual TV channel for the cruise ship. And we were like, all right, what's this? And we found out very quickly that this was actually the professional production that they did live every day for the cruise director. His name was Nate. We have a thing in our friend group where, for whatever reason, you are friends with countless amount of Nates.
Yes.
I don't know how. And they all have their own titles. There's Daddy Nate. There's Father Nate.
Yep. There's Roommate Nate.
There's
Racist Nate.
There's Racist Nate. Yeah.
There's a bunch of Nates.
And now we've got Cruise Director Nate. So we took one look at him. He had, like, pretty wicked facial hair. I'm not gonna lie.
He was cool.
Yeah, no, he gave off, like, a good vibe, like, genuinely. So, and he was, like, really charismatic, and he talked a lot.
He did. He did talk a lot,
but, like, good talking.
Yeah.
You
could, like,
good talking.
Fucking slide in your DMs, rizz you up.
Yeah, which is what we did to him. Which we'll get to in a second.
We had the rizz.
Yeah. So Cruise Director Nate, we so we saw him and we were like, this guy is the shit. We have to be best friends with this guy, because like, we wanted to play into it as a joke, but we slowly convinced ourselves that this was, like, actually a legitimate thing that we were gonna do. So was it me or you? I can't remember who got the idea, but we decided we wanted to ask him for a photo, right? And it was just one photo.
I don't remember who it was, but yes.
Yeah, one of us decided we wanted a photo with him. And do you remember how we got the first one?
Wasn't it like when we were leaving an excursion?
Yeah, right. So we got off on our first or second excursion, and we saw him there, and he was, like, seeing everyone off, right? And I looked at you and was like, yo, that's Cruise Director Nate right there. Like, we got to get a photo.
And then meanwhile, I see him and I started, like, pissing my pants. I'm like, oh my God, Cruise Director Nate.
Well, I was pissing more because I was like, Caden, go ask Cruise Director Nate for a photo. And you're like, why don't you ask? And I'm just like, I have anxiety. I don't want to. I was like, you have to do it. So you were like, oh, fuck, fine. So you walk over and you're just like, Hi, cruise director Nate. I'm Caden. We're wondering if we can get a photo with you. And he's like, of course, I'd love to. So we're like, perfect. So we all like line up and like, get our arms around him.
I'm sure we get the photo. Just put
no, we're getting. Yeah, I'm putting up all the photos for this. Yeah, so we get the photo with him, and we were all like, holding him, with our hands around his shoulders.
Manly meat.
I had my hand on his back. Really nice back.
Yeah,
he works out for sure. I'm pretty like convinced like cruise director Nate fucks.
Yeah, cruise director Nate goes to Japan and he fucks.
Cruise director Nate goes hard, like literally, like because he's on a cruise ship. He's got like he is literally the epitome of human evolution, right? Like so he could get anyone he wants,
of course.
But we get this photo and I realized that it's washed out. I gave the camera to your aunt. I didn't have it on the right setting and it looked like shit. So we like you could see us, but it didn't really look like a good photo. I was like, all right, Caden, tomorrow we're going off on another excursion. We're gonna do a second photo and ask him again.
Yep.
And you were like, are you sure? Like, is this a good idea? And I'm like, yeah, I think it'll be fine. Like, we'll play it off as a joke or whatever. And whatever. So we get off on the thing. We see him. He's standing there in like a black t-shirt and he's got his like sick ass shades on.
Oh yeah, he's got like his aviator.
Yeah, his aviators
shades.
And we're like, all right, here's our time. So I say, Caden, go ask him again. So you walk up, you're like, cruise director Nate, how's it going? Can we get another photo? And he's like, but of course, I'm all about photos.
Yep.
And we were like, no way, because we were discussing like, do we ask him for a photo every day?
Yeah.
Like just for fun?
Yep.
And when he gave us that consent, I'm pretty sure it was consent. We were like, yeah, this is the clearance we need to.
Yeah, you mean consent when he said he loves photos? Is that the consent?
When he said I'm all about photos.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's great because I'm all about getting photos with you. So yeah, it's true. So every day after that, we would try our best to seek him out and get a photo with him. And I don't have a photo with him wearing this, but he had a pink suit with light up shoes. Yeah. And it was the most badass outfit I've ever seen.
It was so very cool. It was something straight out of Fortnite. Very cool.
Yeah, like John Wick would have repped this shit if he was like, breast cancer awareness or, something. Happy breast cancer awareness month or I think, something like that.
What the fuck? Happy?
Yeah.
Happy breast cancer month.
Yeah, you're all survivors. Good job.
Yeah, good job, guys.
Good job, guys. Keep it up.
Great. Anyways.
My mom's going to love that.
Oh, yeah. That's a shout out for sure.
Yeah. Good job, Mom. Keep it up. So we get all of our photos with cruise director Nate. It's great. We've got
your mom's going to watch this and hear about how you had to avoid me to jack off and you made a routine. You don't care.
That's okay. Whatever.
Okay.
I don't give a shit.
Sorry,
what I
Kira.
say around my parents anymore. Doesn't matter.
Sorry, Kira. Your son was beside me and I just got a sniff of his hair and I couldn't hold back.
I just fucking busted into his hair. Just picking out Crispies.
Oh, God. I just hit the mic. My bad. Oh, God.
Anyway, so yeah, cruise director Nate, we really started to have like a good relationship with him. And something I want to bring up really quick is that in order to we wanted to find out who he was, right? Because we didn't have his last name. He was just known as cruise director Nate. Yep. So Caden did a deep dive.
I did a deep dive.
And I don't know how you did this, but you looked up cruise director Nate celebrity cruises and you found a blog page from 2006.
Yeah. You can do some advanced Google searches.
Yeah.
With I don't remember exactly how I did it, but
yeah, but you
found it.
You found it. So we found out what his last name was. Caden reverse engineers, his name on Instagram, and he doesn't just find his cruising account. He finds his private personal account. Okay. Yep. And Caden follows him. And then, I don't know, 5-10 minutes later, cruise director Nate follows him back. And he
on the personal account.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's he's seen us a couple times, asking for photos, but, I don't think at the time he knew who you were, and you didn't have a photo of yourself. It was a cartoon profile or something.
Yeah.
So you know, it's just now we have an in with cruise director Nate on his personal account. Then we find his cruise director account, and that was the one I followed. But one of the nights that we missed the photo with him, I DM'd him to like ask if we could get another photo with him. And I'm just going to read this off really quick if I can pull it up.
Okay.
Because this was so awesome. The way that he reacted.
Like, you mean like his reply to you?
Yeah, the way that he replied.
I actually don't remember this, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to hear. Do you have it?
Yeah, okay. so I messaged him and said, "Hey, cruise director Nate. It's the guys that like taking pictures with you. We missed our chance for a photo with you in your cool outfit tonight. Will you be wearing it again later this week? Thanks for keeping the ship fun for everyone." And he just goes, "Of course, Nate. Lol. I'll have those shoes on again. Don't you worry. Glad to see you guys are enjoying yourself." And I said, "Awesome. Thanks, cruise director Nate. Have a great day." Even though it was nighttime.
That's amazing.
But that was pretty awesome. So
you're just glazed all over him.
Oh, really. Totally. Yeah. But the best part was, like, because of all this stuff that we did to connect with him at the end of the trip, we got off the cruise ship and he gave us a personal send off.
He did.
He saw us coming with all of our bags. He was just like, "Oh, I was wondering when you boys were gonna show up." We were amazing. Like, "Yes, let's fucking go."
Celebrity Cruise employees, any of you guys watching, just keep him around. He's making you so much money. He made that cruise way better for us than it should have been.
Yeah, you really should book a cruise with him if you get the chance.
And get a new cruise ship, please.
Please get a new cruise ship. Just replace it. Scrap it. Get rid of it. Sink it. I don't know, man. Get rid of it.
Give the Washy Washy Guy a fucking Ray.
Give him his own cruise ship. Yeah. Literally put Ray, Washy Washy Guy, and Gerald and cruise director Nate in charge of their own ship.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I saw the captain. This fat fuck ordering like a fucking porterhouse. Get out of here. You don't even fucking steer the ship.
He doesn't do shit.
Fucking autopilot kissing ass. Get out of here. Fucking asshole. Whatever.
Meanwhile, the real fucking workers are the ones waking up every day at like 6 a.m. The poor Filipinos.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he gets to fucking sleep with his shirt off like Lord Farquaad and just be like,
"The captain?"
Yeah. Fucking dickhead.
Oh, man.
Anyway, so that was our cruise ship experience. We'll wrap up really quick just talking about a couple things that we had in Japan. So when we actually like got to Tokyo, we kind of got to experience a lot of different interactions. Mm-hmm. On one of our first excursions in Japan, we realized that we went up to this like beautiful mountainside and ate lunch. That was like traditional Japanese lunch. And there we had these two fucking Americans beside us, and they were probably like in their 70s, right?
Oh, for sure.
But they're like, they're grumpy as shit. And I just remember like, you know, the guy beside me, he like has the option for a drink, and he grabs a Pepsi because like, oh, red, white, and blue. Right? And then he's just you know, picking up the chopsticks probably for the first time in his life. Right? And he's just like, I don't know how to use these. How do you do it? And he's looking at me, and I'm just like,
yeah, that was weird. I remember that.
And I'm just like watching him, just like pick up one, just go, duh, ow my back, you know, a lot of that kind of shit.
Ow my back.
Yeah, like I said, 14 degrees of motion, bro. Joints just don't work. And then our other experience with a lovely American was going to Hiroshima, which is, as you know, one of the cities in Japan that got bombed in World War II.
Great.
Bombing. Not fun. Yeah. So we went to the museum where, you know, they talk about the historical shit, and we actually get to see the kind of horrors that these people had to go through back in the 40s.
Yeah. If you guys can imagine in a cartoon, there'd be like a vial, or like a fucking chamber full of liquid, and there'd be like a human in the chamber of liquid being preserved. Mm-hmm. We saw that, but with like flesh from people that were kind of just incinerated, and they had those like test samples there. I guess not test samples, but samples of the history of the people that dealt with that.
It was pretty awful. We saw some like tattered clothes. We saw some stains of people on like marble surfaces where they just ceased to exist.
Yep.
Yeah, it was pretty awful. And there was like this one story about this guy who like had chronic pain after getting exposed to the radiation, and he tried to kill his family because he was so ashamed of failing.
Mm-hmm. And he did, didn't he?
No, he didn't. He couldn't. He was too weak, and he didn't do it, and he died eventually. But it was really fucked up. Like I just remember like I was like, it really opened my eyes to just like how bad this tragedy was. Yeah. And we really don't talk about it enough here. Like like the US and Canada, we don't really talk about it because it's always like we're the Western side, so we always get the, you know, oh, these guys were the enemies and fuck them. But like again, it's another case of like, you know, shitty governments doing shitty things, and then, you know, the population that lived there getting the brunt of it. And
you should talk about that guy.
Yeah, so the thing that made me really lose my mind was I was walking through the museum, and then behind me, this guy, like older American guy, I hear in like a gravelly voice behind me, he just goes, "They brought it on themselves." And I'm like,
what a guy.
And we're walking through the museum, like we're looking at people, like people's remains.
Yeah, we are.
And this is what this fucker says. They brought it on themselves.
Yeah.
And I don't think, like, you know, I'm not a very confrontational person, but I don't think I've ever been closer to like whipping around and just punching someone in the face.
Yeah.
And like I didn't do it, right? Cuz like, you know, you still got to like, I still want to be respectful with, you know, just Japan, you know, courtesy and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Not, you know, bringing attention to yourself, but man, I was like, that really like bummed me out to hear.
Yeah.
It's just, it's such a fucked up thing to say.
One of those things that make you lose faith in humanity a little bit. You know?
Yeah. I'm just like, what's the point too? Like, you obviously don't understand the whole like concept of what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
what's the point of going into like Hiroshima in Japan and going to the museum and being like, you guys deserved it? What's the point of going on the ship? I don't know. I don't know why he did that.
Just crazy. So, yeah, that was a down part of the trip for sure. But one thing that wasn't a down part of the trip was visiting Japanese sex shops.
Oh yeah, that was cool. Awesome. That was fucking great.
Yeah. So, do you want to explain this?
Yeah. So we went to this anime building. Let's just call it an anime building, and you know you can get all sorts of cool anime merch there. You know, you can get figures and, you know, t-shirts and stuff like that. But if you just kept going up, the floors just kept getting riskier, you know, if you get what I'm saying.
More risque.
Yeah. And
for lack of a better term,
you know, I was with my family and it was getting kind of weird. But eventually we got to the sex floor.
The sex floor.
It was just a floor full of sex stuff.
A floor full of sex.
So you could get like fleshlights with anime characters like attached on them.
Yep.
All sorts of like dildos and shit.
Yeah, but I think the most fucked up part was that these like the fleshlights were modeled after anime characters.
Right. And some of them were underage for sure.
Yes, and that is not.
I mean,
good.
not okay. Well, Japan underage and.
You know, I'm gonna stop you right there because I'm just gonna say underage is bad in general. Doesn't matter what the culture is. I'm gonna be straight up. I don't think I agree with Japan's policies.
Yeah, I mean, there you go.
Anyway, I think the best part about that interaction though was that like we're just standing there giggling about all this stuff that we're looking at, and this random ass white guy, like probably, I don't know, late 20s, early 30s, walks in and he just takes one look at us and just grins, and then he walks away. And we're like, dog,
so judged.
You're actually doing us like that right now? Like, let us have this one moment to just laugh that we're like surrounded by anime sex toys. You know, this is like a dream come true. Yeah. It's too bad we didn't buy any. That would have been cool.
No, my aunt would have probably looked at me very weirdly. Grandma probably would have never talked to me again.
You're just like, it's for the podcast.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't.
It's for the podcast. Yeah, and then I guess like during our cruise ship trip too, we went to Korea for like one day.
Yeah.
And Koreans are racist.
Yeah, Koreans are racist.
But I think it's probably like just a general Asian racism thing. But
Asians are racist, yeah.
Yeah. But do you remember what they said?
Basically, we were in the tour bus with the Korean Asian lady, and I'll just do a quick sort of rundown. Oh, the Japanese destroyed our land 100 years ago, and they disgraced our families. We hate them. Japan sucks. That's basically what they said.
That was a really good representation.
Yeah.
Wow, good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And like, I didn't get the impression that the Koreans are racist, but you were like adamant that if the bus driver, like the tour guide, was racist, then all of Korea was racist.
Well, what kind of fucking tour guide is just...
Are there any Japanese here?
Yeah, she first of all confirmed that there are no Japanese among the people touring Korea,
and then
she decides to then, once she confirms that there are no Japanese, shits all over them and their country.
She's like, guess what? We don't have tsunamis here because they're our shield.
Yep.
We're like, that's crazy. I'm glad to know that you have no remorse for this like entire country that's getting bombarded with giant waves, and you guys are just chilling because you're standing beside
that was
or
just
behind
one
them.
example. That's just one example, but there was a lot more said.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess like the rest of our trip in Tokyo, we saw a life-size Gundam, which is like a huge, mecha robot, and it's probably like 2 or 3 stories tall. It's like one of the things like on my bucket list I like needed to cross off. So I was really happy to get to do that, and it like transformed, which was kind of cool too. So we got like a video of that happening.
Were you disappointed in Gundam Base? Because I didn't think you were like that overly thrilled when we went there, because it took us a long time to get there.
Well, no, I really liked it. It was cool. Like, they didn't have a lot of the kits that I wanted to get.
Yeah.
I was more pissed the whole time because you were like basically fucking with me and saying you were going to load up on a bunch of like Japanese exclusives, fill your suitcase, and then like resell them on the black market back in Canada for a profit. And I had like a giant Gundam with me already. And I was like, I'm going to have to pay like $100 extra to check this in baggage. If you do that. So I was just pissed the whole time, and then you're like, oh, just kidding. And I'm just like,
that's funny.
The McDonald's was also really good.
Oh, McDonald's, dude. Yeah, McDonald's in Japan was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I don't think you understand like how good Japanese McDonald's is. Like, it's unbelievable. They got the spicy nuggets that you could get with every meal, which like we don't have here, or it's a limited time thing. They had the spicy teriyaki burger. Remember that?
Oh, I do remember that. That was fucking next level. That was so good.
Yeah, that was really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they also had like for dinner, you could actually get like hamburgers with fried rice as the patties.
Oh, really?
I didn't get to try that.
I don't remember
but
that.
I wanted to because it was cool. Anyway, I guess to like close off really quick, we got offered sex walking down the streets of Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the interaction?
Yeah. We were coming back after we spent all of our money at the arcade.
The claw machines.
We literally spent 400. Okay, fucking, we're not talking about that.
Don't talk about it.
Okay.
Don't talk about
Anyways, we're going back from the arcade, or the claw machine place, and I hear from like the right side of me, I hear, "Massagey." I look to my right, and it's just like this, like, 20-ish-year-old anime.
That's your description for a Japanese woman?
Well, she was wearing like the maid anime outfit.
Bro, she was just a hot Japanese chick.
Okay. Anyway, she was like, "Massagey." And we can only assume Massagey, asking foreigners if they want a massage, that's just another term for sex.
I just remember you looking at her and just going, no.
Yeah. You remember that?
Yeah, I do. Do you regret it? Like not saying yes?
No, I didn't. No, I don't regret that.
You don't regret it?
I didn't have cash. Yeah, because we fucking
that's not the point.
We spent it all.
That's not the point. I don't care if we didn't have cash. I'm saying, do you regret saying no? Would you have done it?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you did, you'd probably be bringing back all the STDs from Japan back to Canada with you.
That is true.
You know, Uncle Rock's already claimed the U.S. on that.
Yeah, Uncle Rock. Uncle Rock went to Chicago and just spread all the Asian STDs just everywhere after he fucked the entire dorm room.
Do you remember,
it's just
what was that game called?
Like Plague Inc.
Yeah, Plague
Inc. Where it starts like just one random.
You just see the one plane streak go across to the U.S. and just the whole thing is red. That's Uncle Rock.
That's Uncle Rock.
You did it. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for coming on to the first episode. Do you have anything going on you want to promote, or just say to close?
When I grow up, I will become an army and destroy India.
All right. That's a really cool point.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thanks for watching Rice Cracker. This is our first episode, and hopefully we'll be posting monthly. I'm doing all the production and filming and stuff myself. So
I fucking do nothing. I eat and I sleep and I come here like a degenerate.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get these episodes out on a monthly basis at the very least. We will catch you guys next episode. I love you.
Bye.
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 Bye. I want sushi.
Want sushi?
Yeah, is your place downstairs open?
Might be. You want to check?
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
Is it expensive?
Depends.
Okay. Okay, let's go.
All right, cool.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.